In September 1968, a trumpet player named Marcus Cole was asked to play at his mother's funeral. He said no. His sister asked, his uncle asked, the minister asked. He said no to all of them. Marcus Cole was 38 years old. He had been playing trumpet professionally for 17 years. He had played at hundreds of funerals. In New Orleans, where he had grown up, and where he still lived, funerals were music. The second line, the brass band through the streets, the specific, alive, dancing grief of a city that had developed its own ritual for moving the dead toward rest. He had played at funerals for strangers, for acquaintances, for musicians he had known and respected. He had played through his own grief many times, because playing was what you did, and because the music was what held the grief so it could be expressed and then, eventually, set down. He could not play at his mother's funeral. His sister asked him why. He said, "Because I don't know yet." She asked what he didn't know. He said, "What I feel." She looked at him. He said, "When you play at a funeral, you play for the person. You play what you knew about them. You give people something that is specifically them." He said, "I don't know yet what my mother was. Not who, what." His sister did not fully understand this. She let it go. Another musician played at the funeral. It was a good funeral, respectful, musical, appropriate to the woman who had died. Marcus stood at the back of the room and listened. He did not play. He described this decision in a conversation he had with a music journalist named Patricia Landry in 2004. Patricia was writing a piece on second-line funeral traditions in New Orleans for a cultural publication. She had sought out Marcus as one of the city's most experienced brass band musicians. The conversation had been about the tradition, the history, the specific function of music in New Orleans funeral culture. Then Patricia asked about his mother. She had found a reference to it in an old conversation. Marcus was quiet for a long moment. He said it had taken him a long time to understand the decision. He said he had spent years thinking it was grief, that he had been too close, that the emotion was too immediate. Then he said, "That wasn't it." Patricia waited. He said that what he had understood, eventually, was that he had been right, that he had not known what his mother was. Not in the deep sense, not in the sense that mattered for music. He had known the surface things, the facts, the stories, the version of her that was his mother and his sister's mother and his uncle's sister and the church's member and the neighborhood's woman. He had not known the private thing, the thing underneath all the versions. He said he had spent years after 1968 trying to find it, not in a dramatic sense, in the way of someone who is paying attention, looking at photographs with different eyes, having conversations with people who had known her in ways he hadn't, reading the letters she had kept in a box that he had not opened until 3 years after her death. He found it in a letter, not addressed to him, a letter his mother had written to a friend in 1943, 25 years before she died. A letter about a concert she had attended, about a piece of music that had, in her description, done something to her that she could not explain. She described what it felt like to hear something that said the thing you had been unable to say. She described the specific relief of it, the way music could be a mirror for the interior life. Marcus read the letter. He said he understood, reading it, that his mother had spent her life carrying something she had never found the right language for, and that music had been, for her, the closest the language had ever come. That was what she was. Someone looking for the language. Someone for whom music was not entertainment, but translation. In 1973, 5 years after the funeral, Marcus Cole wrote a piece for solo trumpet. He did not title it. He recorded it alone in a New Orleans studio. He made 3 copies. He gave one to his sister. He kept one. He gave one to the church where his mother had been a member for 40 years. He told Patricia Landry that the piece was what he should have played at the funeral. He said he had needed 5 years to understand what to play. Patricia asked if it was too late. Marcus was quiet. "Music doesn't work that way," he said. "You play it when you know what to play, not when the occasion requires it." The occasion was for the people who were there. The music was for her. And she heard it when it was ready. Marcus Cole died in 2011. He was 81 years old. He played trumpet until the year before he died. The church where his mother had been a member, New Zion Baptist on North Rampart Street, still has the copy of the recording. The minister plays it once a year, on the anniversary of the church's founding. It has no title. It has never been commercially released. It is 3 minutes and 12 seconds of solo trumpet. Patricia Landry described it in her article. She said she had heard it in the church. She said the minister had played it on a small cassette player in the church office. She wrote that she could not describe it technically. She was not a music analyst. She wrote that she could describe what it did. "It sounded like someone who had finally found the right word," she wrote. "After a very long time. For something that had always mattered." Marcus Cole refused to play at his mother's funeral in 1968. He played for her in 1973, 5 years later, when he knew what she was. And the music was right. And she heard it. In the way that music reaches the people it is for, regardless of when, regardless of where. When it is finally ready, she heard it.